All right, everyone, buckle up. Today, we're diving deep into something that sounds kind of like a fantasy, you know, a shortcut to U.S. citizenship.
A shortcut, huh? Sounds intriguing.
Right. We're talking about this proposed gold card visa.
Oh, yeah, I've heard whispers about that.
Yeah, it's been making some waves. And we're going to break it all down, see what, based on this article we found, is the gold card visa, the future of U.S. immigration for investors.
Catchy title. So are we talking about a real golden ticket here, or is it all smoke and mirrors?
That's exactly what we're here to find out. Let's get into it. First things first, what exactly is this gold card visa?
Well, from what I've gathered, it was an idea floated by former President Trump. It's basically a visa program that would give foreign investors permanent residency in the U.S.
And a path to citizenship.
Yeah, exactly. But there's a catch, of course. It requires a hefty investment. We're talking a cool $5 million pumped into the U.S. economy.
$5 million.
$5 million.
Wow. Okay, so this is definitely geared towards a certain crowd.
For sure. The idea behind it was to replace the existing EB-5 visa program.
Ah, the EB-5. That's the one that's been around for a while, right, for investors?
Yep, that's the one. But it's been plagued with problems, long wait times, concerns about fraud, you name it.
And I seem to recall that requiring investors to create jobs too, right?
Exactly, which added another layer of complexity. So the gold card is kind of like a streamlined version. Higher investment, but supposedly faster processing and a smoother path to citizenship.
Interesting trade-off. But you got to wonder, why the huge jump in the investment amount? From, what, around $1 million for the EB-5 to $5 million for the gold card?
Yeah, it's a big leap. The article suggests a couple of reasons. One is, of course, the potential economic boost. Imagine the influx of cash if a bunch of folks suddenly decide to drop $5 million each into the U.S. economy.
Makes sense. And I guess with the national debt being what it is, they're probably looking for any way to bring in more revenue.
Right, but it also raises the question, is the U.S. asking too much? I mean, $5 million is a steep price to pay, even for the super rich.
Especially when you compare it to what other countries are asking. Didn't Canada have a similar program?
They did, though it's currently suspended. Their investment requirement was much lower, somewhere around $900,000.
See, that's a huge difference. What about other places?
The UK actually scrapped their program last year, but before that it was around $2.5 million. Australia's program is under review, but it's sitting at about $3.3 million.
So the U.S. is definitely at the high end of the spectrum here. With all these other options out there, it makes you wonder if the U.S. will actually attract enough investors with this gold card.
Yeah.
Is the allure of the U.S. really strong enough to justify that kind of price tag?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I mean, the article does highlight some of the classic U.S. advantages: economic stability, tons of business opportunities, great education, and healthcare systems.
And let's not forget the prestige that comes with U.S. citizenship.
Exactly. Those factors can be pretty appealing.
For sure. But it also raises this kind of ethical dilemma, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, are we essentially saying that citizenship is for sale?
Yeah, it's a tricky issue. The article focuses mainly on the economic aspects, but there are definitely some social and ethical implications to consider.
Definitely. But let's stick with the economics for a minute. Do we have any indication of which sectors this gold card would target?
Not explicitly, no, it doesn't really specify. But it's probably safe to assume they're aiming for investments across a range of industries.
Right. So potentially a broader impact than the EB-5, which, if I remember correctly, had specific job creation requirements tied to certain industries.
Yep. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
So putting ourselves in the shoes of a potential investor for a sec, what would you say are the key things to consider here?
Well, first and foremost, you got to weigh the costs and benefits. $5 million is a significant chunk of change. What kind of return are you expecting on that investment?
Right. And beyond the financial aspect, there's the whole lifestyle change. Are you ready to uproot your life and move to a new country?
Exactly. And what about your family? Are they on board with this move?
It's a big decision with a lot of moving parts.
Absolutely.
Well, folks, there you have it. A glimpse into the proposed gold card visa and all the questions it raises. Is it a shortcut to the American dream or a golden ticket with a hefty price tag?
And more importantly, is it worth it?
Exactly. That's the question we're leaving you with today. But as you ponder that, here's a final thought to chew on. The article mainly focuses on the economics, but what about the ethical implications? Does this system create a situation where citizenship is basically a commodity, accessible only to the wealthy? And if so, what does that say about our values as a society? Something to think about.
Right. Lots to think about.
Always is. That's what these deep dives are all about. Thanks for joining us, everyone, and keep those brain gears turning.